Months, and it's like from the same. I know each.
This is how we're gonna start off the podcast.
Absolutely.
You criticizing how much I ride a dirt bike.
Yes, because you keep blowing up the same, dropping photos like every other week, and I'm like, bro, he's only ridden 4 times. It's from the same corner from like 4 months ago. Like, get some new material, dog. Like.
And this is Moto Monday number 118, and we have Reese here criticizing just how many times I ride a bike.
I mean, he's still faster than me, but it's just funny because I'm like, dude, he's really milking those couple rides. Like, dude.
Well, if somebody sends you like 5 photos, you don't post them all at once. You like, here's Tuesday,
for every
here's
month.
Thursday, here's gonna be a throwback Thursday in 2 weeks. You know.
But it's so dumb when it's all the same ride. Like over the, I
That's
know.
all I got.
Like you haven't even had to do an oil change yet, dog. Like,
That's all I got.
All those photos.
And then we have a Mr. No hashtag over here, Brandon Kallberg.
I've used one.
Okay, what's the one hashtag you've used?
Charge life for Rhino Power. That's because I was told to.
Okay, that's solid.
So I need to get on it, but.
You know what? That might actually be better than the people who use like 20.
Yeah.
I love the people, and I admit every once in a while I like being goofy and doing it. They don't actually type anything in words. They type the whole sentence or two in hashtags, like hashtag I went to, hashtag Riverdale, hashtag to ride moto.
I don't even know what
much.
I don't even know what they do.
Well, isn't technically a hashtag? It only works if you put a space, it cuts it off, right? Like it's, you know what I mean? It has to be all one word.
Correct.
Yeah.
So every time you hit a space, then that
You just
starts
lost
the next
yeah.
hashtag.
Yep.
So basically the hashtags are just so, it's like a search thing. Like, you know, you do hashtag Grays Harbor.
I'm going to wake up tomorrow and make a post. I'm going to have 40 hashtags.
Dude, blow it up. You need like one photo and like it needs to look like a paragraph, bro. Like thank your goggle company.
Hashtag should have been a cowboy.
There's probably a ton on there.
That's probably its own page. Guarantee it. Guarantee that's its own page.
If you want nonstop entertainment for a night, do hashtag Moto fail.
Okay.
And just watch nonstop videos.
Oh, so it like links it to stuff.
So yeah, and that's how the hashtags work. Is let's say you make a post and you do hashtag Moto fail. As soon as you make the post, that's now an active link. You click on it, and you can see everyone else who ever did that hashtag.
Okay.
So it helps you find stuff like, you know, if you want to do 2020 Honda, you can see everyone who's used that hashtag for their photo, and you get to see all sorts of different 2020 Hondas.
I'm learning.
Yep. And it's a dope way to find cool pages, though. Like all joking aside, for moto stuff,
Yeah.
like
Oh, gosh.
because you'll see, oh, it was from this page, and you'll go and they're like, oh, it's a cool page. They post a lot of stuff about this or whatever.
110 clothing, you can do hashtag 110 clothing, and everyone who's ever done that hashtag that has clothes and stuff, I can now see all those photos. So just put it into like a feed. So, but yeah, go find us some of the fail ones or Moto Goon. Or,
Hashtag Moto again.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
try that.
Hashtag loaded in the back of my truck wrong. I'm just saying, like, I don't even know if that's a thing, but you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
all
sure.
all the fails of people missing the ramp and stuff, dude, epic.
Like that one where the ramp comes up and smacks him in the face.
The pit fight guy,
Yeah, that was a good one.
hands down, I think one of the best ones. Just, it was so painful.
I did that the other day.
No.
I loaded up at Gray's yesterday and got up and then realized I couldn't step up because I forgot my stand. So I was like sitting there stuck like, this is higher than normal. Had to call for help. Been there.
My biggest fear is riding up the ramp and not having enough momentum and getting up and being like, and then dumping the clutch and it spits the ramp out.
Won't do it.
Dude.
Scared I'm going to go through the window.
Yep. If you ride up the ramp, you got to have, like, in my opinion, you'd have a ramp like about this wide, and you got to come up with momentum and pull the clutch in and just coast up. You know what I mean? Like, because if as soon as you burp it, dude, you're spitting the ramp out, and that's no
Yeah.
bueno.
Not
Yeah.
doing it.
Or I saw very recently someone killed their bike halfway up.
Oh, damn.
That's a good one.
And then so, fall. Yeah.
Well, that's the worst. It's like the cow tip, bro. Like messing with your buddy in the corner. Like when you put your foot out and there's no ground there,
Reese,
that's the worst feeling, dude. You know
you're
what I mean?
really ruining the efficacy of me pulling off the cow tip when you tell everyone on the podcast every other week, about how I take people out. Now they all know what's coming.
It's about time. I'm doing it for the public, bro. I'm standing up for justice. I'm standing up for what's right.
My best sneaky,
Because it's
pass maneuver is now being exposed.
Good.
Almost on a weekly basis by you.
Good. It's annoying when the freaking mod 110 comes up next to you and you fall over in your 450. It's happened to me a ton of times. Like I'm over it, dude. I'm over it. I'm just starting putting my foot out on you. And the fact you get away with it on little bikes, that's the part that makes me want to blow you out. Because it's like,
well, it's one of the only ways you can throw your weight around, because you slow them down to a stop and you almost are about the same. Basically, you run so high. You want your front tire in front of their front tire, your rear tire behind.
Yeah.
And you just run them high and then just all brake stop.
Yeah, or you just T-bone them.
Well, actually, let me tell you a story.
Oh, no.
Let me tell you,
There we go.
let me tell you a story about Reese. And I know we've told this on the podcast. I'll make it brief. But I was playing around on a 150R at Clark County Fairgrounds. Chasing my buddy, riding
not
around.
true, dude. Not true.
And anyways, we're dicing, and I pass him. He's on like a 2-stroke. This was years ago. I pass him.
I mean, I still suck, but I sucked really bad back then. Like, for sure. Like,
yeah, whatever. You tootle around too,
Yeah.
because you turned it up afterwards. So we passed him. I don't think anything of it. Last lap of practice, and we're playing around, and I think it was Danny, and we're just going like this the whole time. And we're just, and I'm going in this corner, I hear this rev, like, I don't remember a 2-stroke, even seen one in a while. And suddenly, wham! When we passed Reese turned it up a notch and tried to like keep pace, and had been following us. I had no idea he was back there. I figured he was long gone. No, he paced us, and then he wanted to get in on it, but he didn't really know the whole ride high or anything. He just T-boned me.
dude, I put my front wheel at his swing arm pivot, and I went for it, dude.
It moved the entire bike.
That's the best.
Okay, now that we got all that out of the way, Brandon, how's it going, man?
It's going good. Just been working and hanging out.
And tearing your bike down, it sounds like.
Oh, my bike is thrashed. We're trying to get ready for the National. I've been riding quite a bit, and that poor thing. It's funny, Tommy Flora and Elliot walked up to it yesterday at Grays Harbor, and they're like, Tommy's like, dude, your bars won't turn, your wheel won't spin. My brake pads are like kinking in half. Like, I'm trying.
And you got a race in a few weeks.
Yeah, I think the National's on the 22nd, so I'll be ready.
You got a few weeks. You can get it together. Yeah.
It'll be good.
So you're gonna race the Washougal National with no spectators.
Yeah, that'll be pretty weird.
Is that
for sure?
Is that just gonna be trippy?
Yeah, I think I don't know whether it's gonna be. I think it might come to my favor because I won't get so nervous. It'd be like more like a local weekend.
I was gonna say, dude, like, you might lose the hype where you're
Right.
like super pumped. You're like, holy crap, there's people lining the gate. But at the same time, it'll take the edge off.
It's like a local race.
You're
You
like-
got the amateur days and then the pro day, and then another thing we were talking about, the fans that do go, it's going to be kind of cool for them to be able to walk the whole track with no fans and see the whole.
Everybody that's there, that's a mechanic or like working for like the crew or whatever that's
Right.
there, like, dude, VIP. seat,
Yeah.
right. You get to see does it suck a little bit? For sure. But if there's some cool stuff for everybody that's going to be there,
Right.
absolutely.
I just feel bad for the people that can't go, and I know that's
the diehard, like,
going to be like a weird parade lap,
Yeah.
But I mean, they kind of keep you going for 30 minutes. I mean, we already know I'm going to get zonked, so.
Well, and but lining up and looking down and seeing Roxon and all the boys and like being
Right.
like, holy crap, dude! Like, these are the OG. Like,
Right.
that in itself you're gonna be fired up. And if you're not, then you've
Right.
partied way
Then-
too hard or something. You know what I mean? Like, if that doesn't get you going, like,
I bet you some of the big boys though, that's gonna mess with them, because the guys who aren't on racing Supercross every week and all that kind of stuff, it's one thing. But like, I am curious to see what like that are like our top 5. Is this gonna mess with some of them? Like, some of them do not care, whatever, or is other guys?
I honestly think it'll be better for them. They go race, still getting paid. They're still doing their thing for the championship, and they don't have to worry about all those people coming up to them doing this. I mean, I know riding it might be weird, but dude,
yeah, as far as like,
everything
those guys are
outside
so
of our
gnarly.
track.
Autograph signing, their pit's gonna be super chill and
Right.
low key. Like, yeah, it could be. it might pay in some people's favors, and then the guys that like maybe they use that to get themselves pumped up and they don't have that, it might, it could be really
Think about it
interesting.
this way, though. Do you think McGrath would have thrown any Showtime knack-knacks if there would have been no crowd?
When he was winning,
I
dog.
think
I
There's
think
still
he would
going to
have.
be like 2,000 people there.
He would have done it for those cardboard guys in the stands. You know what I mean? Like,
But I mean, it's going to
You
be
get
weird.
that energy, you know what I mean? You kind of get that energy. I feel like in the last 5 minutes, there's some people who tune it out, and other people who helps them just keep driving, keep going, you know?
Dude, like when Baggett 2-3 years ago, like launched it in the sand, bro.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude, and like everybody was like, he's dead, and he rode out. Like everybody that was right, I was standing like right there, dude. It was insane.
He launched that.
Nobody cared about who was in first, second. Like it was just like, did you? And that was like the talk of the So you're gonna lose some of that, like.
How did he live, by the way? Because I walked out one time. I was walking the track, and I'm looking, and so he landed like here,
Dude,
here.
that, my friend, is called true talent, athlete, and let's be honest, that works. True Japanese work suspension,
Yeah,
bro, is
that's
impressive.
that 140 pounds. If I'd have done that, my frame would have snapped.
He is. Yeah, he's a small fella.
Yeah.
Dude, it was insane, bro, because he landed, I mean, it's been talked about, but it was so gnarly because he landed sideways.
And he
slop.
landed almost on the bank.
Yeah, it was rear wheel, dude, and he just like went, well, let's get a buff out. I'll leave it on. Like that work shock. They got it figured out that day. Like it was good.
Yeah, there's been a few of those jumps that you're just like, how did they do that? Or we can bring up, how does Chad Reed live through the catapult?
Dude,
Good thing he landed backside on the side.
Would you have got back on your bike? I would be sitting there,
I don't know.
and I'm like, I'm alive. You know what? It's a good time to hang it up.
Chad's such a baller though, dude. He was like, I'm good, dude. I'm gonna get home in my private plane that I paid for, and like sponsor checks.
But that's why Tommy is so big into yoga and doing that stuff, is for that. And he's been helping me a lot. And
The state of mind type stuff.
yeah, just prepping your body for the crash. That's why when he crashed at Woodland that race and did get hurt, he was able to walk away. He's so fit. And I'm not, but I mean, I got to do a little better at that, but that's why Tommy's so big into that. Those guys are so fit and flexible that when they do that, they can get up.
it pays dividends to be able to like
Yeah.
roll with the tumble instead of like being a brick and hitting the.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, who was it? Rhino. Actually talked about, man, if I would have done more yoga and
Yeah.
really taken care of myself in
trying.
certain ways, like I probably wouldn't have gotten hurt so much.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Having a range of motion, being fit, and that definitely helps.
Not being stiff, dude. Like you
Yeah.
want to be loose, you know.
Yeah, and I notice, well, for example, that the regional, when I won that regional, that first Moto and Pro Sport, a week before that, Tommy came to me and said, you need to do this week. And I did. And I was fat, out of shape. But what I did that week helped me tremendously. Stretching your muscles, warming up, eating correctly. I don't eat the best right now. I eat decent, but it all helps if you're serious about it.
Yep.
So
Well, and the difference between like, even being like Tommy, he's not to blow him up too hard, but the dude's good.
yeah,
And he is always in shape. He rides a lot. But like, even for him or for you guys to like run local pro races where it's like, oh, it's an 8-lap race at Woodland or,
yeah,
you know, Thursday night moto or whatever, for like payout night, you can go out there and be like, if you've got true talent and skill and you've been riding forever, like you can go make 8 laps. At the end of it, you might be like, dude, my arms are blown out.
yeah.
But you know, there's a big difference between that and being like, oh, dude, I gotta go do like 30-minute motos in the
Yeah,
heat.
30's
and, like,
gnarly.
Yeah, that's a big step, you know. 8 laps on our local tracks. While Shugels have pretty good lap times, it's a longer track, you know. Horn's pretty good, but I mean, as far as places you're gonna race, local A versus national pro, dude, that's such a big gap. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Huge gap.
Then you get thrown into that pace with the boys.
And you try to hang.
Try
and
to
then-
hang, and then you add, you know, after, you know, all of us locally could do 15, even to 20 minutes, but you throw in that extra 10 plus 2, and it's
That's where that fit.
it's hard to train for it when you work and
When you
do
can't.
all that stuff.
No
And a lot
amount
us local-
of sheer grit and determination, like when your body, like if you push yourself regardless of your pace,
Yeah.
dude, if you get to that point where you're like, you know, I'm done, you you can only grit your teeth so long before
Just
like
gotta ride.
Yeah, dude, like you're gonna
You just got to ride.
What is it like on like minute 27 of the race when you've been thrown in there and just battling with those guys? What's it feel
At
like?
the beginning?
No, by minute, let's say Moto 1, you're at minute 27, 3 laps, 3 minutes,
to
2
go.
laps to go, whatever, yeah. What's it feel like?
Well, a lot of times the top guys are lapping you, and you're just hanging in there.
When they go around, does it take the wind out of your sails, or can you turn that into a positive where you're like, dude, I'm gonna try to get a tow?
You
or like,
can get a tow and try to see if you can pick off a couple more people, but it's just it's brutal. I mean, you're wore out depending on, sometimes those top guys lap up into the top 20.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically. And Washougal's not even that rough compared to Southwick, or you see some of the tracks, Unadilla, Redbud, Budds Creek. Washougal's kind of it's trickier because it's slippery, so that kind of...
in the shady spots.
Oh,
The
shadows.
shade, it can mess with you
Yeah.
because, especially going in like with a single we were talking about, jumping into that, and then it's got those trees there.
Yep.
So you're going from that bright in your eyes, and a lot of times I've noticed like you'll go in and like for a split second you don't see the bumps or ruts. Like,
right. Coming
I
back
hope
down,
I remember where they all are.
Coming back down into the woods, that gets
Oh
pretty
yeah.
hairy. So, but it'll be fun.
Washougal's always fun.
It is.
When did you decide you were going to do the national?
Well, I had my license in 12 and 13. I did a lot of racing in Canada, and I took like almost 5 years off. I didn't ride for a long time, and had some issues, and started riding again. And actually, Davis texted me one day and was like, "You need to get a bike," and I'm like, "Okay." So I went and got a bike, and I think it was Connor Elliott that came with me that day. Went and picked up the bike, and I was all of 250 pounds. I was huge, haven't rode, drank a lot of beer, and then went through a lot of stuff, and then went and got a bike, started riding again, and was like, rode for a while, and then the regional, I did the qualifier actually with Mike Smith for fun, and stayed with them. We got a hotel, and I was so fat. And then I started riding again, and I went to the regional, and I was going to go in 25 plus, and I'm like, well, I'll ride pro sport if I qualify, because I didn't want to beg for my license back. I wanted to earn it. If I qualify in pro sport, I'll ride the national. If I don't, I'll bag it. Well, I ended up winning the first moto. I'm like, it was supposed to be like a joke. I remember Brent telling me, dude, just go ride, have fun, don't get tired. Well, I won it, and then ended up finishing, rode it in for fourth the second moto, and I was like, okay, now we got to do the national. So then the Lorittas trip. So I know that's what we wanted to talk about tonight a little bit. And
Well, yeah, because it's starting.
starts
Start
going on
today.
right now. Practice was today, and
So when did you go to Loretta's?
I went last year.
You went last year.
Yeah,
And to ride or spectate? Or
I rode.
And what class?
If that's what you want to call it. I did pro sport and 25 plus.
Some quick classes.
Yeah,
Kind
it
of
was.
the top of the top, bro.
It was actually, I was getting really ready for it, and then I had an incident out at Gray's with another rider, and he ended up cross-rutting and crashing, and I hit him and re-tore my knee, like, right before. So I couldn't ride or do nothing, got out of shape. Let me tell you, that is not the track to be out of shape. I didn't know what to expect, heat-wise or anything, and
Is that your first time going to
First
Loretta's?
time.
Okay.
So, whatever, but I showed up, and it was kind of, I went unprepared. I should, it was just a whole issue from the get-go. Nobody's fault, just fully unprepared, everybody's first time. I ended up just kind of doing terrible in practice, and then crashed the first moto, and then I remember the second moto, I was late to my gate because I was my own mechanic, by the way, which So I was already 7 pounds lighter in sweat rolling to the gate. And this was pro sport. And I roll up and I'm late, but I draw chip number 6. So I'm like, okay, I missed my gate pick. Well, the whole gate was full, and there was one gate next to Jet Lawrence. I'm taking that bad boy. So I took it, and me and Jet were bull crapping a little bit, and I was like, I'm going to hole shot you right here. And I told him, and that's that picture I posted a couple days ago. I came out in 3rd, and I got a good start, came out in 3rd, went through, I forgot the names of the tracks, but went through into the back, and I actually ended up hitting a rut and stuffing the front end and falling over. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the Yamahas have super bad battery problems.
Oh, no.
So my bike wouldn't start.
No.
For like, I think the people rode around me for 2 laps, and I'm sitting there, and it's like, bah, 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 and it just wouldn't start.
Oh, no.
So it didn't start, and I'm like, no way. So I like rode around to ride her in. And then the next moto, I think I didn't have a moto the next day. The next moto, I got a terrible start because that outside went into the straightaway before the 10 Commandments, and there was ruts going down, and I seen a bike come over, and the guy just tagged me, just knocked me out cold. Done. Had to go. They carted me off.
Sounds like a great trip so
Dude,
far.
were you by yourself? Like, were you by yourself?
No, I went. Yeah, I went with people, but it was just who I went with. They had a kid racing, and it was just all stressful from the get-go.
Mm-hmm.
It was nobody's fault. It was just, we actually ended up at the end of the trip. I'm sure everybody's heard about it. No one to blame, but I actually ended up coming home with someone else, and it was just super stressful. Like,
yeah, you know what?
The logistics of it, dude.
Right.
That's it. Especially if you don't have like a co-pilot where you're like, dude, you get carted off in the ambulance. You're like, who's going to take care of my rig? Who's going to get all my stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's a lot.
It was so tiring. It was so hot. And
that story
I wanted
I've
a
heard
Coors
over
Light
and
so
over.
bad.
Just slightly tweaked from people, though. Like, even people who were like training and, you know, putting together their whole program, they get over there and just like, it's hot.
Right.
Weird luck. Bikes coming flying out of nowhere and hitting me. Where did that route come from?
At the end of the day, it's all mental. I wasn't mentally prepared at all for that when I showed up. Not at all. A lot of it's, get out of here, bug. A lot of it's mental. So I kind of just hung out, had a good trip, helped everybody, made the best of it. They wouldn't let me race again, so whatever.
From the concussion?
Yeah, so I did what I helped everybody else, and Kobe Carper had some killer rides. I helped him, and
He's quick.
yeah, so it was fun. The trip home was really fun. Went through Colorado.
Got to see some stuff.
Yeah, so that was fun, and
Man, I just wish that was a little closer for us Northwest boys, because it's a trip.
yeah, and that's the first national.
It's
Loretta's, and that's going to be gnarly because the track's not really wide. It's not.
Yeah, what do you think it's going to be like having the actual AMA Nationals at Loretta Lynns? That's going to be kind of trippy, kind of weird.
Yeah. A lot of people, I see on the internet, a lot of people were bumming out about people signing up for amateur days and riding, and well, now it's not the fastest 42 that can ride the track, and I get that because they're doing amateur days for it. But there's nothing like the Amateur National. And now that Monster's putting it on, I've heard from some people there that it's even cooler this year with Monster putting it on. So it's super fun to go. I would like to see, definitely I'd like to see some kids around here go. I'd like to see Garrison get there. I don't know if he went this year or not. I seen him at Albany.
I don't know.
I don't think he went.
I don't know if he did.
That kid's he's good.
Oh yeah, he's good. He's got
good. I'd
talent,
like
man.
to see, it gets people's eyes open.
Dude, we got some fast riders from the Northwest.
Yeah.
We got some fast kids, and I think a lot of people don't always realize it, because especially if you go to different areas, because like the riders we got down here is actually a lot different than the riders up north.
Right.
You know, I go to some of these events like Monroe, and I'm like, who are all these people?
Dude,
Yeah.
I don't recognize over half of them, and so people get used to seeing their patch. Like, there's actually a patch over here, and they got their own fast boys, and
Right.
there's some studs.
Dude,
out of
what we
Northwest.
think of the Northwest Motocross, you got like us, like PIR, Woodland, Washougal, and there's the up north boys. There's the East boys like that, like live and die by Horn and like all the sand tracks. Like the JMC boys obviously have pretty heavy influence over there, but like, you know what I mean? Like there's just in what you'd say our neck of the woods, not even getting to California, we have multiple like.
Yeah, just Washington, I'd say we got 3. We got the South, like us. Then we have the North,
Yep.
up Seattle area, and then there's the East Side. I'm going to loop all the way from Richland to Spokane in the East Side. And they got their own boys, and
And the dudes that trickle in from Idaho that ride our stuff a lot that are like, dude, it's better racing or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, yeah.
I feel like Loretta's is getting to be kind of, you got a lot of teams hiring these kids. So you got, every class has dudes that are, my guy for this week to wax everybody's kitchen.
dude, I'm really curious to see what Levi's going to do, because he's had his moments where he's shown that he can run with the best of the best.
Right. And I know he's going in, from knowing him, I know he's going in with some motivation for some reasons. But I feel like Loretta's is kind of getting to be, you got the factory teams coming, they're grooming their guys. I sometimes feel like even if you go out and rip some top 5s, you still might not even get help.
Oh, totally.
Well,
I
you
mean,
got to think
it's-
the top 5, if you're outside the top 5 in the B classes, those boys are like whether they be a satellite or a semi, I don't know what the terminology is, but like when you have like the smaller bikes, like 250F bikes that are like, you know, Honda has Geico, it's
Right.
still factory effort. Like they're getting factory support, but they're not full factory HRC. But like they're picking dudes out of the B classes, and they're going there with legit bikes, like set up equipment that mom and pop with like some phenom kid.
It's tough.
They could have thrown all the money and be like, you are not going to go there with the same experience or backing that like the dude that got picked up by that team. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
It's crazy.
They all ride
dude.
their 250Fs. Jet, all those guys, Open Pro Sport, it's all the same bike. The track's not big. You don't need horsepower. But, you know.
Just how rough does it get?
Oh, it's not good. It's not good. It's going to be, for that national, it's going to be one of the gnarliest nationals.
Do you think because it's a smaller
so
track?
rough. All they do is add sand and mulch, not mulch, but sand and sand and sand all over the whole track. There's ruts are insane. Me and Kobe walked it at the end of the week, and there's ruts up to my waist and bumps that are taller than this table. It's
Do they groom day to day, or do they just leave it?
They groom day to day.
Okay.
So it's fresh every day. First motos are sick. You can just go wick it. Unfortunately, we got all the later motos. But when you're first moto and you're running a full-blown, the MX-11, the paddle, it's soft. It's soft. So, and we got really lucky. Fortunately, it rained as we were leaving. It didn't rain the whole week. It rained the last day for the last 3 motos.
Hell yeah.
I think. So
I forgot about the rain they get there.
and this year, I don't think they're going to get that lucky. So I'm waiting to talk to some people.
Now, what about for the AMA National? Can you imagine if we had a mudder there for the
gets
opening
so
round?
bad.
Dude.
It gets so bad.
With all the top dudes like going for gold, like
In the
bro,
parking, when it does that, you ain't getting semis out. I mean, it's full grass field. You're stuck. It's gnarly.
there could be a lot of logistics that go into this that could be. Plus, they go from there to Washougal. So all the trucks, all the rigs, all the team guys.
I'm just going to Washougal.
Yeah, dude. But you think about it, that's a long haul.
A long haul.
Those boys don't have a lot of time to like we got to get to Washington like now.
Right.
Like, bro, put the bikes in the back. Like, let's
It's
go.
the experience, though, aside from the racing, awesome. It's a fun time. I think when I go next, I'm going to spectate I know Landon flew out. Courier, he's there watching, hanging out.
Is he just hanging out, or is he there to help any particular
He's there to
person?
probably help kids and do his thing, but you think pit bikes and side-by-sides and golf carts are bad at Washougal. You go there, and it's roads, roundabouts, roads, and it's like if you're walking, you better watch out. It's full traffic all day. People mobbing,
I've
drifting.
heard this.
It's
Well, there's
insane.
a lot of people, they stick into one
yeah.
one area, and then you're like, here you go. You're here for basically like a week. You know, like
It's so fun though.
How many, like-
Swimming.
What would you say, like, for your first time guys going, like, whether you're racing or, well, let's say if you're racing and you're like, I'm going to Lorittas for the first time, like mom and dad and their kid on
Yeah.
60, or like 30 plus vet guy that's like, dude, I got lucky, I'm going.
Yeah.
You got advice like parking, the right places to park, like, what would you say, like, if you're going for the first time, what would be your advice for dudes going?
If you're going for the first time, go early. If you're serious about the racing aspect, go early and try to find some places to ride. Get used to it a little bit, used
For
to
the
the
heat
heat
and the-
and
okay.
things like that. Take the family, no expectations, have fun. Don't go to, if it's your first year, don't go to,
I'm going to crush it. I'm
yeah,
freaking.
because you ain't. Straight up. It's not.
You went there with a lot of experience and a lot of seat time. And you
Yeah,
were
I've
like,
rode a lot, and I went, and I have never seen or done anything like it. It's
it's as gnarly as what
First-timers-
people make it sound.
go early and go for the trip, and go for the experience, and go for the
I've never even gone. I think that sounds super smart.
yeah.
A few people.
The horror stories we've heard, dude, it's like,
Yeah.
and people get so into it because it's like,
Yeah.
and nowadays some of the other big time amateur nationals kind of died off, where it's like, yo, Loretta's that's people's nut. That's like, that is the one that's your like,
It's a lot of money.
dude.
I mean,
yeah.
they're spending a lot of dough, so that's why if you're gonna spend that money, take a vacation, take the whole family, and go enjoy it. Go early, sightsee, go race, hang out. On the way home, I went home with the Carpers, and we stopped, camped, Colorado, this, that. It was awesome. So I'd go for the experience if it was your first time, because there's nothing like it. I mean, you're not going there for, DeFrancesco, these guys, they're going to get paid, to get rides, to do this. Can you be there? Yeah. I mean, but your
People have
first
to be a
year-
little aware, though. I feel, and so I've been a little critical of Loretta's in the past because I've just, I've done this for a long time. I've seen people do the whole, I pull a second mortgage to go take my Pee-wee rider.
Not good.
I'm like, you're not gonna get it back, and then you're not having fun, and then you just had to
Right.
take 2 weeks off of work, and then like, it's just a huge thing. If you're not comfortable doing it, and if you don't have just a stud, and I'm gonna say it again, 50 racing don't matter. Do it for
Right.
fun. Just because he may quit when he's 11. Like,
Yeah.
I want to do softball now. Like, if they're 50s, like, I don't mind people like putting in the work, get a fast 50 rider, but don't take it so serious that like, 'cause it doesn't matter. I think until you're like super mini,
Yep.
have fun. Just
Yeah.
literally ride and race for fun, and don't forget that you're doing it for fun. And that's where I see people, I think,
Well,
they're
you
screwing
got
up.
you got kids like Jaden Smart, who's riding the Cobras. He was at RV Cup. Those 50 kids rip.
Mm-hmm.
They're getting help. Cobras taking bikes. They're
If you're a
different
top,
ballgame.
you're going to get a ton of help. But you have to be aware, I have a kid who goes fast,
Yep.
or I have a ridiculous stud who's getting free bikes. And
Worst class,
Plant
hands
trips.
down, P-Dub. I ain't ever seen so many protests. I watched it firsthand. I'm sitting there, and I'm talking, these parents are putting these kids that are 5 foot, and they got these tall bars and these huge pegs and these built bikes, and these parents, there's 8 protests in a day. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding
we talked
me.
about it on the podcast
Yeah,
because
it's
someone was
insane.
calling me. He's like, okay, protest number 5 so far. And then it's
Insane.
texting me, okay, that's 7.
And I'm like, I'm
They're doing
sitting here,
teardowns, full
full
teardowns?
teardowns, spending money. And if you spend the money and nothing's wrong with the bike, you don't get your money
No,
back.
you're out. That's it. Sorry, bud. Like,
But they will do it. I mean, same with Super Mini 85.
Yeah, how many teardowns happen? Because at the local level, most people don't want to throw the money.
A lot.
But
Loretta's a lot. They'll go down the street to the ATM or the put it, you know.
But
it's not
but
good.
at that level and at that age, it's like, bro, it don't matter.
It don't.
In 10 years from now, you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, it might be getting a little bit serious. Like, okay, we might be, like, okay, we're at that point where this could either go that way or not, right? Like, but I mean, on P-dubs, on Cobras, like, dude, who cares, man? Like, really? You know
the
what I mean?
PW class is a wild frontier. Like,
oh, it's insane. And those kids absolutely shred. Like, I'm sitting out there going, oh my. And you don't even know when they're on the track. It's like, is there even a moto? Like, but they rip. And if you're going for the P-dub, go for the vacation, don't go to race. Like,
we need to make a shirt of this.
Yeah.
We need to make a shirt of this.
Dude, because it's so funny. They get so into it. But the kids love it.
Yeah, the kids are having fun.
Some of them.
Well, okay. Most of them, you know.
Damn it, son.
But, like, yeah, people forget to have fun.
Yeah.
Especially, I can only imagine Lorettas, because even to the bigger ones, like, go to Top Gun. Top Gun is a blast. However, you can walk the pits, and you sense in certain pits, like, they're here to take it serious.
Yeah.
And it's just a little different atmosphere. You
Well,
know what I
even
mean?
the factory teams, they just enjoy it. Those guys, I mean, Shimoda got hurt and still finished out the week to get results, but the team wasn't, they were out barbecuing, enjoying it, and there was no, he was actually coming in the medic unit as I was walking out. So, but people gotta have fun.
The big deal of that has probably worn off a bit for the teams and the guys doing it. Like, we've been here, done that, and I think they probably helps give them perspective.
Well, look at Ryder D. The dude's been there 84 times. You know, I mean, he's going back for just another race.
Yeah.
So, you know, but your first year guys, they don't know what to expect. They don't know. It's such a cool feeling, though, being on the gate at Loretta's, and they don't lie when you got to go experience it. If you can qualify and go, it is. The only downfall that I hated is you got to be up there an hour before your moto, because it's so bad. And when you're your own mechanic like I just had random people helping me. It was terrible. It was so hot. I remember they put like my practices back to back, Pro Sport and 25 plus. Rode off, and I was sitting on the line by myself in practice in the sun, coming off the track going, this is terrible. This is not good. It was
yeah, that sounds gnarly.
It is. So, you know, a lot of guys, the mechanics will go up and take the bikes, and the riders will kind of just hang out, and here I am sitting on my bike. I did whole shot Jet Lawrence, so I told him. He beat me, but
It don't matter. You got to start. That's
You can
it.
say for a moment, you're ahead of him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Swole got him. You know?
Oh man, he was racing there too.
Yeah, he was. They were all there. I think Swole got the whatever the award they give out at the end of it.
Oh yeah, the what do they call that?
Hardy Munoz, I think, won the 250 Pro Sport. I don't even think the dude got a ride.
I don't think he did either.
Yeah, he won, and he was impressive, and I don't even think he got a ride, and that's what I'm saying. You got these teams. He's getting help. Monster helps him. He gets paid, but dude don't even have a ride.
Well, I think nowadays, and you can tell me what you think, but it's not just, well, okay, let's go back to, how long you been racing?
Since I was 5 or 6.
Okay, yeah. So when you were like 5 to 12, 16, there was a lot more amateur nationals.
Right.
And they were a lot bigger deal.
Yeah.
And if you didn't go there and have a good showing, you were kind of a nobody.
Yeah.
I think nowadays, social media plays into it more.
Yep.
And I think that you have other ways to build your brand, and brand meaning yourself. And we don't have a lot of amateur nationals to choose from.
Right.
So I think it takes more than just going throwing down and getting some wins. you also have to have a lot of the other stuff they're looking for, because we also have a ton of talented people to choose from. The guy who got 5th there could very well just be a little bit of improved training to become number 1, or maybe a bike or something. But I think you also have to be, they're kind of looking for people who are marketable. Like Hunter Lawrence doesn't have to get on a podium. He's marketing himself. The one time he does, he's going to get a whole bunch of followers and they're going to remember, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're kind of looking, I think, for people they can work with.
Well,
too.
and then even when those guys do get let go or whatever for some reason, you know, guys like Benny Bloss, which don't ask me how he didn't get, you know. I like Brock. I know Brock personally. Benny Bloss needs a ride.
Oh, he was throwing
crazy.
down at the end of the season.
Yeah,
he totally
I think
deserves a ride.
that kind of sucks for him. But as he said, a guy like him, it's easy for him to get support. He's going to get help, whatever.
He's holding it down for the big boys, too.
But I don't even know how to use a hashtag, so ain't nobody. It's funny, I called Pro Circuit last week. I'm like, guys, I need a pipe. They don't even have one for my bike. In fact, the dude at my shop got the last one. I'm like, are you guys, so what do I do here?
Bro, if you qualify at Washougal with a stock pipe, with a non-flash
Dude,
ECU,
that thing's not good.
No, send it, bro. That'd be so
Should I?
sick. That's the privateer dream, dog.
I might have to, but that thing sticks out like 14 feet, and it's all dented and stuff. It doesn't even look good.
That's even more dope, dog. That's even more. I'm telling you, line up, dude. When Tomac's like, bro,
and I whole shot him.
You're like, bro, that don't even look like my dad's practice bike that we leave at the farm, dude. And you rip a start. Oh my god, so
oh
sick.
Man, we'll see.
You got a few weeks.
I might not even have a pipe.
Maybe someone will watch this podcast and like, hey, I happen to have one laying in the back.
Because I don't even have one. I don't have a pipe. I need a clutch. I need brake lines. I mean, my bike's just tatered.
You need
straight
a few
up.
things.
It's
What year and model?
Colin, I was texting. It's a 2020 Cowie 450.
Oh yeah, big old muffler.
Yeah. Oh, huge. I was texting Jaron today, and he's like, "What do you need?" And I told him. He's like, you need a lot." I'm like, I don't know. At least I have a cool helmet, thanks to Tagger.
Yeah, so you got a freshly painted helmet.
Yeah, so
dude,
that's,
you leave it stock. I want you to put like number plate backgrounds with the AMA logos. Leave the stock shroud graphics, dude. Because if you qualify, that is the OG private. It'd be so sick.
Gosh.
You'll get more. I guarantee. If you hire Justin, be like, bro, I got some cash. Make it happen. Just let him run your social media for like 2 weeks after the national. He will blow you up. Dude, the love you would get from all the OG fans and stuff.
Stock.
Like, dude,
make sure the suspension's dialed and wheels. Have a good clutch.
Yeah, no, your bike has to.
It'll be a sleeper.
Dude, it has to mechanically function. Yes, if you go out there, you're like,
it's barely doing.
Hey guys, I just shredded like 4 practice days. I haven't put a new tire in this mount to go do the national.
No, that's correct.
Well, who's the guy?
It's so bad.
Dude, you need to go out on fresh rubber. But I'm saying, like, dude, stock pipe, and if you can qualify
You want
on
to see a
that,
picture of my wheel?
dude, I'm ready, bro. Tusk, they're cheap. Rocky Mountain ATV, dude, ship it. 2 days
I got
shipping.
this part covered. I got to show you this real quick. I landed on a rock or something, and I think I should run that at the national.
Oh, absolutely.
I wish we
dude.
could put that on the screen.
Absolutely. Dude, I think
That's
it'll
unusable.
It'll seat the bead.
It's done.
Dude, no, bro. Matte gas torch, piece of 2x4, ball peen hammer, bro. We get a seat. It'll be fine. It'll
The
bust.
only thing is, it just goes like this. So when I scrub or something, I feel it up the face wobble. It's not good.
You're fast enough.
You know what
Just
that means?
Ride
That means
the
you
back
kept
wheel.
riding it.
Yeah, I know.
I did.
That means
I
you
didn't have
kept
a
riding
choice.
on it.
I had to quit motos early.
Dude, just run the
I got a
back wheel,
smash
dog.
radiator.
Keep the front
Tommy
end lifted.
Flora comes up to me, and if it wasn't for him, I'd have ran it, and I'd have probably got my bars stuck. But he's like, dude, your bike don't even turn. I turn your bars, and it kinks up against your radiator. And I'm like, I'd crashed just before that, but I didn't know that. So now I need a radiator and all that good
Radiators should be easy to come by.
stuff. Connor Elliott told me eBay.
eBay.
He said there's good ones on eBay.
Yep, it's.
So-
I mean, I love support my local shops, but sometimes you can get some dirt cheap radiators that actually work halfway decent.
Well, here's the thing. Are you going OEM or are you going to go the GPIs? Because the GPI China radiators is the go-to. But with shipping right now, you got to make sure that it's imported
In-
into California.
in the US, yeah.
It's shipping from California, pretty much like the hub.
Motorsport.com had some in stock.
For OEs.
Aftermarket.
Okay.
That's probably the route I'm gonna go.
If you can get them and then you know you're gonna show up, hell yeah.
I don't know how hot it's gonna be there. I know bikes get hot.
Like,
Well,
sit
So
hot.
You need to.
I need to get a
You
radiator
need a
so it don't
mechanic,
leak.
dog. Run like if you're running stock radiator hoses. Don't mess around with the whole 1.1 radiator cap. Like throw that thing in the garbage. Get a 1.4 because 1.6 is pretty aggressive on stock
Right.
hoses. 1.4. Do at least engine ice. If not, do distilled water and water wetter, bro. Because it ain't gonna be cold.
I was
enough for it
thinking
to
about
freeze.
throwing some Rhino power in there.
I would send
So.
it. I would send it. But seriously, man, like, dude, if you can't, you're not doing like the super cooler and all that crap. Like, I'm just getting all nervous, man. Just talking about bikes. Like,
You're making him
I
sweat.
know.
Right? You're making
Well,
him
I think
sweat.
it's honestly, I'm gonna see Paulson's Motorsports helps me out a lot, so I'm gonna talk to them, see what we can do about getting me stuff to at least get going.
You need a bike that's mechanically sound, bro.
Barton MX Motors, he's gonna get my motor freshened up and give me a little more poop there. So, not necessarily. A lot of people say you got a 450, you don't need to build your bike. It's not even for the power. It's the way those bikes hit. My last bike Shane did, it was awesome. Power was smooth, helps traction.
And you
things
could
like
ride it
that.
and last
Right.
longer.
Exactly. I know this stock bike, it's terrible. It's not terrible, but I'm not stoked on it. Just the power doesn't do what I like, so I got to get that fixed.
Would you
just
like
some
to be
tweaks.
more like linear, more
I ride
bottom,
it on,
or
I like more top. Cowie like revs out, stock,
Signs
top
off.
that pipe. It's all the pipe actually, and then signs off, but you can't ride like a gear high. I know I need to go one up on the sprocket on the rear, but it's not. Shane's head just helps it all. So, and a pipe and things like that. So
We've got a few weeks. Got to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's coming up
Basically,
fast.
you're
Like,
gonna
I
be
can't believe we're in August.
yeah.
you're gonna be spending some money, bro, in the next like 2.5 weeks.
I don't know what I'm gonna do because I can't. I got bills and it's
If you qualify
We'll
with the
see.
stock exhaust, dude, I'm gonna be so proud of you. That's gonna be so sick.
I might have to. So, but my outlook on it is, hey, I get to go race.
It's a badass
So,
experience, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
you
So
go,
why not do it? So I know 2013 when I went, I ended up hurting my knee. Well, I came off knee surgery and then hurt it again in qualifying. So, and then I quit for a lot of years.
So comeback ride.
Yeah, come back.
some redemption.
Come back, kid.
Hell yeah.
I'm getting old though.
Who else do we have? So we got Mike's going to do it, right? Mike Smith.
Mike will do it.
Who's
Yep.
the other boys that are coming out of the woodwork to do the Washougal National? Like,
I don't know, man. I heard like there's a lot of talk. And I know a lot of guys applied to get their licenses, but I have no confirmation on who actually got them or not.
I know that's the same. I've heard talk, but I don't want to bring it up if I
No,
don't really
because
know.
I don't want to blow nobody out, but there's a ton of local boys that like went for it this year.
Right.
So it could be pretty rad. Like 450B qualifying could be gnarly. It could be all Northwest boys like just throwing down, dude. Like,
And I already know what I'm doing. I'm going out first, and I'm absolutely laying it down.
and then shutting it off and being like,
Not even shutting her off. I'm going to do motos in practice. I learned you have to. If you don't go treat it like a moto, you won't get a good time. If you go like putt around, at the regional, when I threw down the fastest lap of that whole weekend on lap. It wasn't even an early lap of the first moto in pro sport. It was like mid-moto.
you just went out there and went, I'm doing a moto.
Right, but you get warmed up, and but if you go out and you putt around and then kind of
Sighted in.
you're not gonna throw down a lap.
Makes sense.
So you could treat it like a moto.
Makes sense.
And for all those guys racing first year this year, you got just go throw down, and that's it.
It's either going to buff out or it's not, right?
Right. I mean, if you yard sale, you got another practice. So.
It's fair.
I mean,
Yeah?
we'll see. I got some pretty decent expectations for myself. I'm going to do that, but I don't know if I'm more stoked for the National or I get to do Old Timer Nationals next year, and that I'm stoked.
Old
I'll be
Timers
30
Nationals
next
is
year.
a good time.
I'm stoked for
They
that.
put on a sick event.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
cool, dude. It's like, and the fact they
I
travel
didn't
to
go
really
this year.
Yeah, it's rad.
They put on a cool event. It's just, it's different. I like stuff like that. Like you go to the Dream Race, it's a
Yep.
different vibe.
Yeah.
It's just kind of a cool vibe. And it's fun.
I've been racing. I went to Pacific the last couple Fridays. My goal now is just to ride everywhere. Ride every series, every track, you know, and that's so cool that Smale's got that going and you guys got your series going in this, and I'm just trying to do everything. So I did some PRO, and things like that, so.
We're rusty on PRO.
Yeah.
We're rusty on that.
The year we did it was fun. Dude, it's crazy because, like, I will say this, if you're not a guy like you where you're like, dude, I'm like, I got the speed, like I could run like legit local pro and like maybe make some money here and there, do some arena cross, go bang some bars, or whatever the case is. For us mere mortals that are not in that class where it's like money's on the line, where it's like I'm spending money to be here,
Yeah.
there's no chance of making any money. It is fun like picking to one of those bigger series because it forces you to commit and travel and go to other tracks. Because we all get lazy, you get comfortable, you're like, well, it's an hour, 30 minutes, or 2 hours to drive to that track, which I never go to.
Or
even though
6.5 hours.
Or 6.5.
Spokane.
Yeah, but like, you know what I mean? Like if you live in Vancouver and you're like,
Right.
I really like going to Gray's, and dude, that's a sick track. Or the Ridge, super freaking fun, dude.
Right.
Like, and I know a bunch of
Which
people.
I wish
that
that was still going. Kind of.
2020 just needs a reset button.
Yeah, it does. For sure.
We need a reset button.
But like for us, like even like Gray's, it's like if you live in Vancouver, it's like, well, if I'm gonna drive up 5, like, let's go to Riverdale. Right? It's closer, it's easier, it's less, you know, but when you force yourself to get out of that little bubble, which I'm very bad at, I get comfortable. Like I'm like, oh, dude, Albany, I love Albany. It's
I
so
was
fun.
just going to bring up Albany. Why would I go to Albany when I could go to Washougal and it's an hour less drive?
But
and
Albany's so sick. Wednesday practices are dope,
when you
dude.
get
Like,
there,
I
when you
went
get there,
last Wednesday and I
haven't been this
wasn't
year.
stoked.
dude, I love those guys. They do a rad job.
Right.
But sometimes the track,
I've seen Albany where I'm like, man, and I've
See,
been to
we're,
Albany
that's
where like,
we're
this is
so
amazing.
different because I'm looking for like rough and gnarly and ruts.
well,
And-
I'll give those guys, they do a really good job prepping it, and they change it every week.
Yeah.
And they don't have so many obstacles that
They
are
do put
like,
in work. And
don't put a lot of
legitimately
crap.
established.
They don't get super rutted there, though.
It used to.
Ooh,
There's a
I don't know,
helmet
man.
cam.
Dude, we went there in a couple, like last year when like we just got those random summer rains where it was gnarly, bro. And plus they watered pretty heavy
Yeah.
because it had been 90.
It's just been so hot.
Yeah.
There's a helmet cam of me and Stank Dog and Musling on YouTube, and the track was sick. It was gnarly. It can get like that.
One like in the back section where all the mulches and stuff and it's more shaded, it'll get good back there. But in the middle, if they kind of run you like some dog leg kind of back force stuff, it'll be
Right.
hard pack. That's the one cool thing about it. You get kind of every soil. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
you get hard pack,
Yes,
you'll get like
totally.
deep mulch, you'll get some ruts, and you'll get some like hardcore braking bumps, kind of almost Mountain View-esque, like in the middle of the track where the sun hits and there's no shade. But the back section, dude, like the sweeper coming up to Sand Lake and stuff, so sick, dude. Like back there's rad. Like I don't care, dude. Even on a bad day, it's like this is pretty fucking
The
sweet.
tires
Just-
suck, though.
If
I
you
broke
clip,
my finger on one of those tires.
if you
They're
clip-
terrible.
If you clip a
It
tire,
hurts.
bro, it's not a good
I
day.
I got a
doesn't
hole in my. Oh yeah, that's another thing. I got a broken clutch cover. There's like I've been running it because it's not leaking.
Just stop it off.
Wait.
You cannot run an outdoor national and you tell me I got a broke clutch cover, but it's not leaking, bro. If it's broke,
Well, I don't. They're like $100.
bro, quit. Then I don't know how.
I'm-
You better
I'm-
be getting that stuff for free, dog.
I'm getting a
otherwise-
new one.
JB Will, dog. It's good stuff.
You gotta at least
but you
throw
gotta
some JB
grind it
Will
out.
in it.
Right.
You gotta grind it out so you have beveled. You know what I mean? You want to fill in the void. Don't just put it on
It's
the seam.
actually it's just the clutch cover, the bottom bolt, it like broke in half, and then the bolt like broke in half. So we're good. I mean, it's not leaking. So
Hey, if you get through tech, dog, send it. That's all. I'm
no,
saying.
the whole bike, it's getting framed, redone.
Thank you,
So,
God, man.
It
You've
is.
had a rough go on that bike.
Yeah, Scorcher it works. He's helped me a lot too. He told me that he's like, dude, that's why you need 2 bikes. And I'm like,
Oh, Scorcher up at Paulson's?
yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that guy.
Yeah, he helps me a lot. I talk to him every day. He's actually going to help me get parts and set something up to get going. So I've known him since I was a kid. He's helped me. I've had family issues. He's always been there for me. He's awesome.
He's a cool dude, and he's got some stories.
Oh, boy. He does.
I still can't properly pronounce his last name either. But
Either can I.
I don't know
I'm
if
not
I
even
want
going
to
to
do it on
try.
air.
I don't know.
But it's very long.
He might be watching right now.
Yeah, he might be watching. If so, I'm sorry.
Because he asked me what time it was. So
You know what? It's one of the
he's
worst things in
awesome.
the world to be an announcer, and you're going through the list and you stop like, how do you say
I
that?
think it's Scorninci. I think that's what it is.
There is an extra I in there.
Scorninci. I'll ask him tomorrow.
Yeah,
Or tonight when
well,
I
maybe.
call.
Yeah, well, we can give him a
Sorry,
small shout out
Scorch.
and
I'm
like
sorry,
actually say it,
buddy.
but, well, nobody calls him by that. So.
I know. Always been Scorcher.
Yeah.
I am gonna take him up on that offer though. He wants me to go ride his skis, so I got to do that after the national. Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you know, when you go out there, put the used clutch cover back on. I get it, dog.
I'm
I get
gonna.
it. Yes.
You know what's probably realistically gonna happen is I'm gonna show up with no bike prep and just run it.
Why would you say that?
Hey, I do, however, change the oil and the air filter all the time because it's so much money.
Dude,
You need to document this. You need to have someone follow you with the GoPro for the weekend.
seriously, bro. If
It
you
wouldn't even be
Make
good.
a YouTube. No, this would be good.
No,
You need to make a
dude,
YouTube video.
the privateer fans will flock. It'll be so epic.
Yeah, and I'm not a big old Facebook, Instagram poster. I need to get better.
We will find you someone to follow around, your pit mechanic, whatever, follow you around with a GoPro. You need to document this.
Okay.
And then they can edit it and upload it somewhere. You can do your Facebook. They can make you a YouTube or something. You need to document this. I want everything from if you're running that cover, make sure they show the cover, because that way you can show like, hey, I finished with this. I love it.
Because the last couple months have just been rough. I rode that PRO race in March, and then I had, on the way home, had that incident. I don't know, you guys seen my tagger helmet for Teresa. That was a whole nother deal coming home. That's when that happened. I didn't ride for a while. And ever since then, it's just been, I've been off. So I'm trying to get kind of going. That bike, I shouldn't have got rid of it. That bike was so good. Now I'm starting over. And now with the COVID stuff, you can't even get parts. I mean, sponsors and things like that, they're shutting down. I mean, they're not giving clutches out or doing this or doing that. I mean, that's why a lot of privateers, there's been talk that there's no pay or they're cutting pay for the national. So you got guys,
money, yeah.
you got guys that should be, but how?
Well,
they
there's no
can't go
income.
out. Right,
There's
they
no
can't
income.
go
There's no
spend.
spectators at nationals.
Look how much it's going to cost me to go if I don't get help. It's going to cost me nothing because I'll run a broken clutch cover. but so
No, yeah, I get it. It's going to be interesting to see how it pans out. We're going to have to shut this one down, though. We're about to our limit, but we'll be back with the after show here in just a few.
perfect.
Let's wrap it up on this. I got a good one.
okay.
He's got a good one.
It's positive. It's positive. I hope the Nationals fucking kick ass, dude. I hope the one at Loretta's is badass, and I think it's like good TV coverage and everybody's cool and
Yep.
supportive, and nobody talks a bunch of shit on Instagram and Facebook. Like, I hope it goes off because it'd be so rad that we get to have it outdoor.
It's just
national.
cool we get to go racing.
Dude,
and,
yes,
and Huffman and all that family's doing all they can to do, so what else can they do?
Dude,
I mean, they're
those-
doing what they can do.
You think about them, which like there's a lot of like sentimental attach. Like that's our track, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So like, hell yeah. And I think of all the other tracks and all the other families and all the other like people that have been dealing with this crap forever. Now they have all these curveballs, but they're willing to play ball
Right.
and deal with like logistics of dealing with their counties and their states and their legislation and all. Like, dude, it's
And you
just-
got to pay to hold a national. So
It's a gamble, bro.
Huffmans are straight doing it because they want it and because they love it. That's the only reason. If they didn't even want to do it, they'd shut it down guaranteed. So I don't know all the details, but I know that.
Be like, yo, we'll make up some money on practices, and we're not going to take that financial risk.
They're doing it to have it there. So whether fans or not, it sucks, but what are you going to do? At least we get to go race.
At least they're running it.
It's badass.
So at least us local guys here get to go line up if we choose, which is cool. So.
Yeah, hell yeah. I think it's badass. Everybody, don't talk no shit. Let's all be positive.
Look at you, all Mr. Positive. I like this.
I like it,
dude. It's sick. You know what I mean?
Turning a new leaf over here.
Supercross. I'll be the first one to say it. The whole riding the same track and stuff was kind of lame. But I was stoked the boys are racing, and there was good battles.
You had a dust bowl, you had a mutter, you had good conditions.
And the whole doing it during the day versus the night, it kind of threw a little bit of a wrench.
Night was way better.
Dude, it was kind of cool. You know what I mean? So change is good sometimes, I guess. I don't know.
I just feel bad for the privateers that.
Dude.
Oh man, then you got to go from Tennessee to Washougal to. Hey, let's go to Redbud for 2 weekends or wherever it's at. Holy cow.
They got some travel. Usually, but, hey, at least we got it. At least we got it.
Usually you get the first couple of rounds Cali and stuff, but yeah, the privateers always get screwed on the schedule, man. Yeah. That's straight up. Those boys, if Phil and all those guys really cared, they'd make it kind of follow.
After show, Reese.
All right, man.
I'm down for that.
Let's be positive. Let's be positive.
Stay on your positive side. All right, we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, guys, for watching episode 118 or listening. We'll be back in just a few with the after show.
Perfect.
And